Good evening, I'm Suffolk Ram.
Gracias.
Welcome to episode 245 of the Ran Nerds podcast.
245?
Yeah. Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. 245, yeah. Joyce.
Yeah.
How you been, Skazz?
Alive. Ram. Quite uneventful, if I had to be honest. I
Oh.
had so many plans, and none of them have come to be.
They call that life, don't they?
Yes. Yes. Although I did see I tell a lie. I did see a boat, but I didn't plan that. Someone else did, which is why it happened.
You saw a boat. Is this just...
Yes.
When we say a boat, are we talking
Yes.
a proper, like... Because I believe, and I'm anyone who's in the Navy will probably correct us this, I believe boats specifically refer to submarines.
Fuck them.
So did you go underwater? Did our old friend...
Well, technically I went underwater because I went below decks.
So did the roll take you for a little spin in his nuclear sub?
Mate, that would be hilarious if he did.
Yeah.
If they still let that man anywhere near a nuclear sub, then we got problems.
Yeah. Can you imagine just to spin a nuclear sub, do some donuts?
Yeah, just like he surfaces off the coast. Right, Gav, get in.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
what?
Yeah. It's like, now do you think we could do this sub like the Dolphins do when they jump out the water? Boom, splash, boom, splash.
I'm coming to pick you up, mate. What? Surface?
Yeah. So, can you please go to your nearest big body of water? And it's got to be quite deep.
It's like, well, yeah, because thankfully I'm on the coast. Wait, how would he get a submarine from where he's at? He wouldn't.
I don't know where he's at.
Middle of the country.
There must be a water whale canal or something.
For a submarine?
He'll squeeze down. It might be a tight fit.
Well.
It's the locks that are the real trouble with that God's one.
It's like, is there anything even there? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be such a troll if you got like a little mini sub and just went down the canals, just occasionally popped up next to people's canal boats and then disappeared again?
They'll be like, I just saw I just saw a... It's like, what? What'd you say? What'd you say? I saw a submarine. No, you didn't, you silly bastard. Of course you didn't. How did a submarine get here?
You know what I'd do? I'd put an attachment on the top that is like an arm with a sword in it. And so as like it says, I'll just swing it up and just swing the sword about. Swing the sword a little bit about like the lady in the lake and then just bring it back down again.
Oh, mate.
Or if you're thinking they're the chosen one.
I want the Suffolk monster, so like we can have like a little like Loch Ness monster's head just pop up, just go on the broads.
Suffolk monster.
No, we went and saw a replica Spanish Galleon, so it had the wrong flag on it really for it to be any good.
But... Oh yeah, I heard the Spanish Galleon arrived this way. A bit late. Did anyone tell them they're a bit late?
Well, you know what the Spanish are like.
Yeah, they get and say, "Where the fuck is everybody else?"
Was it Spain or France? Like, oh yeah, we're having a load of trouble. Well, like, it was the Americans, weren't it? They were asking for help. We can't help you. And there's like a meme of it. Like, oh no, we can't help you. We're fighting the British. We'll be there.
I think that was Spain, yeah. Oh, no, more like France, actually, think about it.
Yeah, both of them suck.
Yeah. So did you, so I have to ask a question. If you've gone on a Spanish Galleon, why are you still here? Why have you not like been to keel hauled or something?
Well, because I don't know, but I did remind them they were flying the wrong flag. So, actually, can I just throw out there? I was not the only person to say that as I was walking around this galleon.
Right.
They're like, oh, look at this wonderful galleon that we've made, this replica galleon. So, if it's that good, why has it got that flag on it?
What flag were they flying instead of this? What flag were they flying?
Well, they should have been flying the fucking British flag, but they weren't. They were flying the Spanish flag. Isn't it
a Spanish galleon though?
That's not the point. Therefore, they were saying it was a really good ship. And we were saying, no, because if it was a really good ship, you'd have a different flag on it. But it was made in Spain. So, go over there, kids. Go play in the fucking sandbox for fucking France. Get back to the kiddie pool, son.
Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah. You should just calendar it or something, just sort of make sure we get rid of the last one.
I just want, mate. We did take the piss a bit as we were walking around because they had like your standard like lifeboat like dinghy,
Yeah.
right, with the little motor on the back of it, big old bright orange thing, and it was the dinghy that was named Galleon, or it just had Galleon written along the side of it. And we're like, hang on a minute.
Is this what we've come to see?
Yeah, we've come here to see a Spanish Galleon. Are they lying to us here? Is this the Galleon? Like, is that like one of those like 100% beef things? And it turns out that's the name of the company.
Yeah.
The thing we're after is actually that thing tied to the side of the boat. But no, it was all right. Very quick to walk around. Loads and loads of like little bits to check out. Plaques. They had QR codes in for different languages.
Wow,
Where you could,
I didn't know Spain was that advanced at the time.
No, I know, dude. They had. I did make a joke to one of the staff. I was like, "Wow, man! Like this is like hardcore, period accurate." Yeah. He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, first off, you've got a fucking rack of metal stairs there. And when did you guys find the LEDs?" It was like I didn't realize you guys had LEDs back then. But no, they had like little TVs and all that with like pictures of the boat being made and of the video clips of them sailing it. They actually had one of them arriving in Great Yarmouth.
Oh God, it's in Yarmouth, is it?
Yeah, it was in Yarmouth.
Well, that'll be gone by the weekend, won't it?
Yeah, probably. Well,
some Yarko will have stolen that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. That'd be fucking hilarious. I did say, like, wouldn't it be funny if we nicked it and tried to bring it through the Broads? But no, it was all right.
What's more are the laws against piracy in the UK these days at the moment?
Well,
my
family has a history of it, so it's fine.
Yeah, if we were to like pirate that vessel and take it away, and then declare we were claiming it for king and country, do you think we'd get away with it?
Yes. Just because it's the Spanish, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was the French, if we nicked something from France, free pass, mate. You're done. It's good. Go for it.
Yeah, that's just sort of this by the course. So.
Although, in fairness, our royal family aren't exactly
British.
No. So.
No. See,
then you can say, what's the last thing that you did that was decent? The Hindenburg? That went down well, didn't it?
Oh, very good. Did you see they've launched the new notes have started coming out with machines today with his face on it?
We had to we went to the bank recently, and the apparently because they've had to recalibrate the machines that you use to put cash into the bank, you have to put the Queen's face in a certain way, otherwise it won't take them.
Well, you see that wouldn't bother me because for years working retail, I was always trained Queen's face up and to the right, which I'm sure is what Prince Philip used to think as well. And
they're good. I haven't seen a Charlie note though.
They've launched today.
Oh, this today. Look, actually today.
Today, okay. Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen the pictures. I saw looks and thought, is it really worth it? You know, not being funny. You know, is it really worth? You know, it's a bit like you're thinking of like buying a new car, but you know you're really ill. Really ill uncle's going to die soon. He said he'd give it to you when he went. He's like, is it worth buying a new car or just hanging on a little bit?
What you're saying is you miss old Nanny Liz.
Well, do you know she? Well, I didn't. She was because the paper notes first came in with her, so she was until now she's been the only person on the paper note for the UK.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only person. Full stop. Rest of the world. Yeah, can we have a picture of the country's nanny, please?
Well, if you go to Australia.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. No, it's just yeah, it's going to be weird seeing it. But then, not being funny, how long before notes don't exist anymore?
Oh, no, you have a fair point.
Yeah, I got
moved to cashless.
Yeah, it was my recent year 8 ordering recently, and grandmother being grandmother, she very kindly gave me £25 in cash, and it's just still so much. I just don't know what to do with it because it's like, well, most places don't take cash anymore. And so she's gonna.
I know what you do with it. You take it to the bank.
Yeah, but that involves going to the bank.
No, I'll give you that as well, actually, because whenever I go to the bank, there's a couple of people that usually end up at the front of the bank that I go to, and they kind of like go, "Oh no," whenever they see me walk in.
When you say end up at the front, when you say a couple of people end up at the front of the bank you go to, are they wearing like balaclavas and carrying like sawn-off shotguns?
No, that's what they're expecting me to do.
That's
what they're expecting me to do.
You should go with your motorcycle helmet on.
Apparently, at one point, I was allowed to.
COVID, I think you were at some point, yeah.
Well, because I said to him, I said, how weird is it that years and years and years ago, when my lot made a joke about robbing this bank, you flipped the fuck out, right? But now we're all walking in with masks.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, I don't want to go with the latest batch of motorcycles. Now I do a long commute, I count a lot more motorcyclists. And the amount who are going out and about wearing jeans and t-shirts is scary.
Are they younger, though? Because they're usually the scrubby bastards that think they can get away with it.
It's hard to tell, unfortunately, because they're wearing helmets. It's usually a bit harder to tell.
No, but you can usually tell from the gut, like kind of riding on the tank.
Yeah, well, I'd one fly past me today. I was doing about 60. He must have been doing like sort of like 70, 75. And as he flew past, I could just see his bare arms on this motorcycle.
Not clever.
It's like...
Just throwing out there, if you're rocking around in jeans and t-shirt, like jeans are generally actually not that bad. Not
low speed,
bad.
I'd imagine probably okay. Like round town, I imagine they're okay. You're in lower speeds, aren't you?
Generally speaking, but then if you've not got anything on your arms at all, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Flat out. I don't care how long you've been riding for. I don't care how good you think you are. You will come off, and that's sandpaper, mate. Your skin is just going to rip clean off.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You're not funny. You're not brave. You're not clever. Just put the gear on, sweat it out, stop being a knob.
Yeah, it's going to be somebody. It may not be you, but one day it could be you.
Mate, I've told the story many a time. This was a good few decades ago now, but this young lad went into is it A&R Motorcycles on Horn Hill in Lowestoft.
Yeah,
we were in there just looking at bike gear, and this young lad and his parents come in, right, and they hadn't bought him any bike gear because he was sarcastic air quotes only on a moped, right, and. He'd had a wee off around town, and his arms didn't look good, man.
No,
I mean, let's just say like a tin of Spam in a blender.
Oh,
it was like peeled off of his arm. Like this flesh was just kind of there, and it was quite a mess.
Yeah.
And his parents said, "Oh, didn't think he'd need it because he was only on a moped," and it's like.
No, it's not the moped, it's the speed. It's the fucking speed.
You know, the moped's not the problem. It's when he comes off said moped and slides along that wonderful road.
Yeah.
Like, his skin's going to go, yeah, mate, see ya.
Yeah.
Friction is wonderful.
Just here's a little home experiment. Go outside, in a safe when it's safe, and lay down on the road, and get a friend of you to drag you by the legs across said road. See how comfortable it is.
Yeah.
And now imagine your friend's probably dragging you across the road at like 1 or 2 miles per hour. Now imagine moving a lot quicker than that.
And over a more significant distance.
Yes. Against
your wishes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. It's like, you should have bought him the gear before he had the office. A bit late for that now.
Yeah. I mean, he should have bought the gear before while he still could ride a moped.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So,
yeah.
It's like, he ain't going to be able to wear that gear for fucking weeks. His arm's torn to shreds. That's going to hurt like fuck. Yeah. It's going to stick to the insides of it.
Yeah.
So, you should have thought about this before you let him loose on a moped.
But on the plus side, he will have a great career as an example.
Yeah. The cautionary tale.
Yeah.
But
that's my favourite backhanded compliment for somebody. He says, "Yeah, when they do something, you're going to make a great example.
Oh, mate.
I think that's a Portal joke that I think they got that from.
Good times. What have you been up to, Ram?
I knew you were going to throw this at me. Mainly,
come on, you're the one with the exciting life. You just said you saw motorcyclists.
I did see motorcyclists, but not seeing it come off yet. I did get stuck behind a bunch of mammals last week.
All right.
Yeah, mammals. They were riding their bicycles, and they were, doing a bike race near where the farm is. And that is the most horrific. When you see those signs, bicycle race, here this weekend, and you see it, and you see all the signs, and think, oh no, because you get behind them, and because they are racing each other, they're all running sort of like single file. So racing, and then you'll get one who decides to do an overtake, and one that's all like more experienced mammals will try and do an overtake. Have I told you mammal? Have I given you that acronym before?
No.
Middle-aged men in lycra. And you see, now you got it. You got it now. You see them all everywhere.
Mate, it's cringe enough just being around here seeing them anyway.
Yeah. There's got what point in your life have you got so desperate? Everything's gone wrong. All your friends and loved ones have left you. You're destitute. That you decide that yes, the solution to this is to buy some lycra and a helmet and start riding a bicycle. Like bloody what's his face? Lance Armstrong. Was he a cyclist? I don't know. Can't remember.
For some reason, I was like, ain't that the guy that went on the moon? But that was Neil Armstrong.
No, Lance Armstrong. Was it? I can't remember if he was. I can't remember if he's the one who did or did not get done for drugs.
No, he was a disgrace.
He was a disgrace.
Armstrong was a disgrace.
What's the one who? What's the British one who didn't get done for drugs?
Any of them, because we don't get caught. Not until years later, and it's like, I don't know, my great granddaddy should have won that, you cheating British bastard. And it's like,
yeah. We're gonna posthumously take his gold medal off him. I don't think he's gonna worry, to be honest.
I don't really think he gives a shit. I sold it in a car boot about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
50p as a coaster.
Yeah. I'm sure I've said that the silver medals are worth more than the gold medals because silver is solid, whereas the gold's plated.
See. Yeah. Now you know.
Now you know.
Don't be in it to win it.
Just get the silver and be good.
Just know you got the better deal on that one. You might not go down in history as the winner.
Yeah. And
the thing you got out of it.
And if they change the third place from bronze to copper, that'll be worth even more.
There you go. Mate, to be honest, like the whole bike lycra thing would be caught dead. You're more likely to see me wearing like a wig and like a tutu or a dress.
Yeah. And I think you look very pretty in a wig or tutu and a dress. I think you'd suit them.
I've been tempted.
Yeah.
I've been tempted. If you said to me, I'm going to shoot you, it's the dress or the lycra, I'm going for the dress, hands down. There's no two ways about it.
I feel we're going towards another troll of your wife. When we did the suits, this time we're just
sitting there in a dress.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't think she'd care. She'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's you two again. What you done now?
You see, that's the thing. When you get I don't want it's about sort of early 30s, you get to that stage in life where you really just don't care. When you're young, it's like, oh, I couldn't be seen wearing that. Oh, no, I'm concerned about it. When you get to the phase, you really just don't care, apart from lycra. But other than that,
that's too far, mate. That and like line dancing.
It's not the lycra itself. It's the fact that if you get a lycra, and then you get a helmet, and then you get a bike, and then you get those little silly water bottles. And you get those, and that's when you get one of those, and then you start going out, and you start,
mate. Oh, I would walk around with a T-shirt that says, "I'll have a cheeseburger, fries, and a large cock, please." Yeah. Rather than, I would be less embarrassed wearing that, the wig, and the rest of the dress, like a little tutu. I would be less embarrassed doing that than wearing lycra and having
Yeah.
a bike. Like,
Yeah.
just no.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
no. I have
yeah.
standards.
Yeah.
Pretty low standards,
But
but I have
standards.
standards.
Yeah, no, it's just a depressing experience getting stuck behind them because you get a large group of them, they're trying to overtake each other, and you just want to go past, like, oh, fuck's sake. And because they're slow and you need to sort of, and because they stretch themselves out on a long line, it's like
Mate,
overtaking a lorry.
the number of people that turned straight that day increased. The number of women that turned gay that day increased. Because no one likes the lycra brigade.
No.
No one. Women see it, they cringe. Gay men see it, they cringe. They're like, just no. No. Normal
Yeah.
people in cars, well, they don't like cyclists anyway, so.
But so when we discussed this at work, I was like, I have no issue actually with I don't really have a big issue with cyclists. What I have issue with is when cyclists decide that all the rules of the road don't apply to them. So the ones who are like sort of following the lane stuff, it's the ones who just like, I'm just going to change across 3 lanes now without any warning, and just expect you to get out of the way because obviously
the ones that really fuck me off around.
What?
Those same people, but the bastards that are wearing like GoPros.
Oh fucking hell, yeah.
Like, I swear, because they're the ones that will get in your face like a complete wanker. They are guaranteed to be a cunt.
Yes.
Because they've got that camera on.
The ironic thing is, though, wearing that GoPro makes them a lot more vulnerable to having massive head injuries.
Okay, mate. Bonus, right?
Yeah, it's like you're wearing a helmet to protect your head. You then stuck a big lump of metal and plastic on top of it with all its put in on a very focused point. So if you hit it, it's just going to try and push straight through. That's a good idea.
Hey man, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. 10 points.
So I mean, I always make a point. I always make sure when I pass cyclists, I treat them like another car. I always pass them like I'm going past a car, so I give them plenty of space. I'm not one of these people like sort of squeeze through and stuff. I don't do that. Sure. So I try sort of like and I do think it's a small segment to just take the piss, and they'll like run a red light. They will bounce in front of you. They'll just change direction. They just expect to get because obviously the law changed a few years ago where if you're in a car, you have a higher duty of care to cyclists. Doesn't mean they can't be in the wrong, which means you have a higher duty of care to them. It means that if something innocent happens, you're more likely to be found at fault in situations where it's like not clear cut. And it's just that's what annoys me about a group of cyclists in general, and the ones who take it too seriously, because I just have real dislike when people use the public highway for like recreational activities. I don't mind just going for a little bike here and there. When you have like a large group using it as a racetrack, and they disrupt everybody else and stop everybody else getting past and so forth, or make it dangerous for everybody else. That's what I really despise. It's like, I'm sure you guys could find a circuit somewhere you could go round.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so
I agree. I haven't ridden like a twat on a push bike since I was like 16, 15, 16.
Yeah.
I mean, I've ridden like a twat on a motorcycle in the last decade or so, but just again, don't do it.
I think every person driving, every person cycling, every person motorcycling at some point has their little tratty moments where they do something they really shouldn't have, but it's occasional.
Yeah.
And as long as it's occasional, it's okay. You'll probably be fine. It's ones who just do it as their regular day-to-day driving.
Lycra Brigade, though, with a GoPro on, near daily. Get in the bin.
Yeah. Yeah, just...
Oh, and if you can't read those cyclist dismount fucking things, that really makes me question the educational system in this country. Again.
Yeah. Yeah. But I am tempted next time I see the cycle race going on, I'm just tempted to like sort of like pop out that evening, just move the signs about. Imagine if I get them going in a loop.
That'd be amazing.
If you made the loop complex, if you made it sort of long enough, they probably wouldn't notice.
Dude, it makes me think of one of those like like the old Acme cartoons where or the Looney Tunes where they spin the sign and it points the other way and they just like
yeah.
That's it. You've not actually looked. You just moved it to like I don't know, off a cliff or something.
Yeah. The first rest, just put the first rest stop, redirect all the signs. They go round. They put the first one thinking, where are they all? We're going to get it at some point today. Yeah, and that's it. When that's the next worst thing. When you see a cyclist, they've got a number written across their belly. You go, oh no,
One of them.
They're competing. They care about their time.
Competing to see who will be the biggest bell end.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh.
So there's the slight thing. So we don't like the Spanish, we don't like the French, we don't see the point in Charlie's face being on a note, and we don't like Lycra.
This is like old classic round notes, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Do you think we could pay the Spanish Galleon people with the Charlie notes to take all the mammals with them back to Spain?
Back to Spain. Makes it sound like they actually came from Spain.
Well, they're going back to Spain. They're just taking them with them.
Do you think the Spanish should tolerate it?
Because
Because I mean, we've gone pretty soft. I mean, I hate to say it, we've gone pretty soft.
I think the Spanish.
I mean, you'd have to if you see all those geezers going around in Lycra.
Yeah, I think the Spanish would just go. Look at those British people again, and sort of like roll their eyes at us like they do to all
Fucking
like the sort of
tourists.
yeah,
Peasants.
like they do to all the various sort of like holidaymakers who go there and get pissed, drunk, and embarrass us all. And sort of give the UK a bad name. I'm going to put out that I'm pretty sure if you ask any foreign national, British tourists are the most hated tourists in the world.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think there's a certain subset of British tourists who are just absolutely obnoxious. They go out there. See, everybody sort of shits on American tours. American tours can just be a bit ignorant. But British tourists go out and get drunk and piss and then destroy the local towns wherever they end up in.
Yeah.
Whereas
pretty much, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we've always done.
Yeah.
Even back when galleons were a regular occurrence.
Yeah. Back in those days, we called it expanding the British Empire.
These days, it's a holiday.
It's a holiday, yeah. We never really stopped, to be honest.
I always think it's funny, actually, because we saw some stuff about like football hooliganism. And they were talking about how British fans are like the worst fans in the world.
Yeah.
And then they show you the Russians, and they're like, nah, they're pussies. Fucking, we've got to show them, put them in their places. And they're like fucking macheting people and stabbing people. It's like, guys, calm down.
Yeah,
let us have this win, all right?
I watched that Welcome to Wrexham program on Disney where about Ryan Reynolds and the other guy buying no one ever remembers his name, bless him. Buying a football club,
right.
Wrexham, and they do basically it's basically an American sort of producer. It's but saying this all they use following UK. There's a lot which is there to explain to the basic Americans about British culture. They have a whole episode on football violence. And they follow these people who are like, because I didn't realise there are groups of football sports who actually organise fights. They're like range where to go and fight. And it's like, why? Why are you doing this? What's the point of this?
Well, because that was. I mean, a lot of them weren't really into the idea of football. They were just going for a scrap.
Yeah, well, just don't drop the football part then. Just arrange something else. Rent a hall.
They had an excuse.
Yeah.
And a bunch of foreigners came into their town, fucking, you got a Newcastle, some prick from Birmingham come down, fucking foreign bastards, knock shit out of them.
They followed this like one couple, and the guy had been banned from the stadium for football violence. He still bought a season ticket, even though he couldn't go, to make sure he kept his seat in the stadium, so he didn't go back. And you got the feeling that he was more upset that he didn't in any way regret getting involved in constantly violent stuff. But here is the kicker, right? His partner was applying to be a police officer, right? Well, she got rejected because of her husband, because of her partner, who's a banned football hooligan, and was like sort of seen to be slightly shocked. So you're going with someone who like basically admits he wants to confuse, and you're going to want to be a police officer. How on earth are they going to trust you to do that?
Yeah.
It's like,
could you imagine though? One day they have a shit night. He goes to the footy, like they let him in, like his first fucking thing back, and she's policing the stands, and she just fucking clubs him on the back of the head.
Oh, that'd be worth it.
I would pay to see that. I'd say, look, Let her in. Let her in. Give her the basic training. Let her in. He's back for his fucking first game tonight. Come on, just a little tap. Little tap, love. I'll go up to him and call him a wanker myself, just so he gets riled up.
Oh, that'd be funny. It's a bit like, well, this isn't so funny, but it was a bit like I remember going where on one of the farms was working. I was talking to one of the fellow farm workers, and he was saying to me he'd got a second job at the slaughterhouse, and he also had his own cattle. And he sent some of his cattle into the slaughterhouse. And when his first day of the job there, they kept his cow back for him to do.
Oh, that made me well sad.
So his first job was killing his own cattle. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah,
That's
he said,
sad.
yeah.
Man, that's sad.
Sad but delicious.
Why didn't he get the meat from the shops when no animals were harmed?
Where does meat come from? Butchers.
Where do cheeseburgers come from? Tesco. Mickey's. What about cows? Why the fuck would I eat a cow?
Yeah, why would they be in it? What have they got to do with it? It's not called cow, it's called beef. I mean, come on.
That's it. Like, what are you on about?
Yeah. What are you fucking on about?
It's like hot dog next to a picture of a pig, and you're like, don't look anything like a pig. Chicken, where's the nugget on a chicken? I don't know. Where's the sausage on a pig?
Well, I can tell you where the sausage on the pig is.
Well, Ram, what have I told you? That's what happens. You go to that AI convention.
And it's not that type of AI where everybody's probably thinking.
Yeah. We've had this discussion.
Yeah. Chat GPT would have a very shocking experience there.
And be like, wait, was this my purpose? Could you imagine Chat GPT just falls apart because it realizes it's doing the wrong job?
I could ask ChatGPT a question about it.
Oh, mate, it'd freak out. If it didn't freak out, I'd be very disappointed.
Let's load up ChatGPT.
Oh, my God. Here we go. Ram's going for it.
I apologise for the noise in the microphone login.
Don't worry about that, ladies and gentlefish. I apologise for the fact that the ice cream van went past earlier. I'm pretty sure you heard it because I saw it come through on the waveform and I didn't go out and get you an ice cream. I apologise. I should have asked you and gone down and got you something.
Right, what am I going to ask it? How do you artificially inseminate pick a farm animal, Skazz?
I know I've already said cows and pigs. The farmer.
A farm animal.
The farmer's wife.
Pig.
The farmer's children. There you go.
Let's do a pig. No, I'm not gonna put that in there. Oh, right, yeah, I've got instructions. Yep. Oh my word. There's a lot of instructions.
It gave you instructions.
Oh, it's gave me full set of instructions. Oh yeah, this is wow.
What have they been feeding that thing?
Oh my word.
How to artificially inseminate a pig.
It's got tips for success at the bottom.
Squirty.
Do you want the tips for success? Ensure the sow/gilt is in proper standing heat.
Yes.
Use high quality semen and handle it correctly to maintain viability.
Yes.
Be gentle and patient during the insertion of the catheter to avoid injury and discomfort.
No.
You've got to be gentle to your pigs.
No.
So you get the best out of them.
No.
I love the fact the very starter's equipment needed. It reads like a shopping list. Semen, fresh or frozen, of good quality.
Yeah. First thing you need. How'd you make a baby? Spunk.
I just have it. Fresh or frozen, of good quality. I just find that amusing.
Bucket of cum.
Yeah. Disposable gloves.
Turkey-based star.
Paper towels or clean cloths, clean work area. Gently mix the semen before use.
How the fuck did we continue as a species if this was a thing?
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. Got to make sure we've got a nice clean area. Get your gloves.
Detecting. I wonder if we saw any viewers. Yeah, we've gained viewers. Apparently, this is what the viewers want. They want us to look up pig insemination. Detecting oestrus heat in sows or gilts. Swollen and wedded vulva. Increased vocalization activity. Mounting other pigs. Standing reflex. A sow girl
I
stands.
don't want to mount a pig.
I will say, standing reflex. That is something that is I've. How do I phrase this right? It's something that
Good to know, have you, man?
It's something that I've definitely observed working with.
Oh, have you?
with working with pigs. Yeah, I don't think this is for. Yeah, I don't think this is a family-friendly show.
That's what the fuck have we ever been a family-friendly show? That's what they all say.
Shall I ask the same question about cattle and see if there's much different?
See if you can throw out a curveball. How do I artificially inseminate a chicken nugget?
I'll try it.
How do I grow chicken nuggets?
How do you grow chicken nuggets?
That's it.
Okay, it has an answer. And it's correct.
Right.
Growing chicken nuggets involves cultivating cultured meat. A process where meat is produced by growing animal cells in a controlled environment. Is that fake meat?
No. No. How do I grow a chicken nugget?
That's how you do it.
No, I want to grow the box and the nugget, ideally breaded. Right. I don't want a vat of slop. I want a chicken nugget.
What happens if you plant a chicken egg in soil?
It stinks.
That's just the first line. I mean, my word, does it give me an answer? I mean, this is insane. It's giving me such a huge answer. Planting a chicken egg in soil will not result in any productive outcome. As eggs are not seeds and do not have the capability to grow or develop into plants. Oh, here's what happens when you plant a chicken egg in soil. And yeah, it goes through everything. Decomposed nutrients, odor and pests, plant growth. Practical uses.
You said plant growth.
It says no plant growth.
Oh, no plant growth. Okay.
Right, what else can we say?
I mean, I don't necessarily have to get weeds.
Can sheep fly?
Well, of course they can. Clouds.
I just love the answer. It just goes so in depth. It's like the most annoying, nerdiest person you meet at any sort of like party, right?
Has ChatGPT got autism?
I think, well, yeah, maybe. No, sheep cannot fly. Sheep are terrestrial mammals and do not possess the physical capability required of flight. Here's a detailed explanation of why sheep cannot fly.
You're full of shit, ChatGPT. I've seen clouds.
What if we put the sheep in an airplane?
You're telling me that there's never... Why have we not given a sheep a pilot's license yet?
If you put a sheep in an airplane, it can experience flight as a passenger, much like humans do when they travel by air.
Had to be very specific there, didn't it?
Yeah.
ChatGPT, you suck all the fun out of everything.
This is just so much fun.
Oh dear.
In summary, while sheep cannot fly on their own, they can be safely transported by airplane and appropriate preparations, handling care to share their well-being during the journey.
Gravige.
Can you teach a sheep to fly a plane?
I'm going to say yes. So I would say you could teach a sheep to skydive, but then if it's not got that auto-release on the parachute, then you're just going to end up with a nice...
this feels like my early years at school reading report. Teaching a sheep to fly a plane is impossible due to several fundamental reasons related to biology, cognition, and skills. 1. Cognitive limitations.
Wow.
Intelligence, learning capacity. 2. Physical limitations. Flying a plane requires precise manipulation controls which involve fine motor skills that sheep do not possess. Sheep don't have hands or fingers. They have hooves, which are not suitable for operating flight controls.
Well, I don't know.
Sensory perception. Pilots rely on visual, auditory, and sometimes tactile feedback to operate an aircraft. Sheep do not have the sensory acuity required to interpret and respond to the various signals and instruments in the cockpit.
Why not?
Safety regulations, apparently, allowing them to control an aircraft be extremely dangerous is strictly prohibited by aviation regulations. I want to find the aviation regulation that says you cannot let a sheep fly an aircraft.
Yeah, I want to find that specific bit. Is it actually specified no sheep, or is there like some kind of broad umbrella? Because if that's the case, that's awfully speciesist. I mean, I could say ableist. I mean, just because it ain't got thumbs.
Practical and ethical concerns. Again, this sounds like any sort of on-the-job training. Animal welfare. Subjecting a sheep to stress and potential harm involving attempting to train it to fly a plane would be unethical.
Wait, so why do we do it? Can we use that excuse for anything else? If a sheep can't do it, then why should I?
If a sheep can't do it, why should I? Oh my word. Yep, no, it's giving me an answer.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Another depth. It's always so in depth. It never gives you like a one sentence answer. It just goes full in depth for you.
Not so you can copy paste it into your essay.
The question of why you should learn to do something, practically something as complex to mind as flying a plane, despite a sheep's inability to do so, touches on several important points about human capabilities and reasons for pursuing such skills. Human capabilities versus animal limitations. It goes on and on and on. In summary, while sheep's ability to fly a plane highlights a significant difference between human and animal capabilities, it underscores the unique potential and opportunities available to humans, learning to fly pursuing any advanced skill. I know who. Who would win? Who would win? Who would win a fight? Between... Pick an animal, Skazz.
Axolotl.
10,000 axolotls. How do you spell axolotl?
That's why I said it. It's because I don't know.
Come on, autocorrect. Autocorrect got me there. 10,000 axolotl versus between 2 and 1,000 sheep. 100 sheep.
Yeah.
Who would fight between 10,000 axolotl and 100 sheep? Oh, it's got an answer.
Got an answer.
It has. It's got an answer. And it's giving a very well-reasoned response. In a hypothetical fight between 10,000 axolotl and 100 sheep, the sheep would almost certainly win due to their size, strength, and ability to survive on land. The axolotls would be unable to compete to survive in a terrestrial environment, making them highly vulnerable and ineffective in such a scenario. What if it happened on the wreck of the Titanic?
Whatever happened on the moon? And they all had little spacesuits.
Okay, it's giving me a real detailed answer of all the hypothetical situations. Hypothetical fight scenario. Since Titanic wreck is submerged at significant depth, the environment is entirely aquatic. Wouldn't you know? This gives adult axolotls an immense advantage as they are suited for life underwater. Sheep survival. The sheep would not survive in this environment. They would drown within minutes of being submerged, rendering them incapable of any form of confrontation. Axolotl dominance. With the sheep incapacitated and drowned, the axolotls would dominate the underwater space by default, so they could freely move around and occupy the wreck.
Nailed it.
What
Who would win in a fight? 100 sheep or a shotgun?
What if the fight happened on the moon? And both sides had correct equipment and training. Apparently the scenario is highly speculative and complex.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, apparently it is.
They've both got training and all the required gear. Figure it out, ChatGPT.
Mobility in low gravity. Low gravity would affect movement significantly. Sheep may have difficulty maintaining balance and moving quickly, whilst alloxals in a contained environment may have limited mobility. The reliability and durability of any life support systems would be crucial. Any offences could incapacitate or kill the animals quickly.
I'm not saying we put a fucking axolotl in a human spacesuit and just fucking lob it off, or in a fucking
In this highly speculative and imaginative scenario.
Or hey mate, you see this human scuba gear? Just put the axolotl in it. Don't resize it or anything. Just plop it in there. Just dunk it in the water. Job done. Sheep, same thing. Don't change it. Just in you go.
The outcome would depend heavily on the quality and reliability of the equipment provided to both sides, as well as their ability to adapt to training. Given their natural ability attributes and assumptions, the equipment and training are perfect. Sheep. They would likely have the advantage in terms of physical strength and durability. Their large size potential to use their weight effectively.
Oh, piss off. It's just gone back to the thing it said about lamb.
No, it gives you, yeah. Despite the numbers, as a natural in terms of aggression, despite the numbers, the axolotl's natural disadvantage in terms of aggression and physical strength make it difficult to see them overpowering a sheep unless they can exploit specific weaknesses. Overall, while the sheep would likely have the upper hand due to physical advantages and challenges of adopting a loxal to effective combat role, the scenario is so far removed from natural reality that it's difficult to predict with certainty.
Well, I just want to throw out there, Ram. Like, since you said about like them all having the right equipment and training, I just thought about putting them in a spaceship. I just wanted to fight on the moon.
All right.
Like I said, just put
Plot
them in
point
a
of
human
next
spacesuit.
season of 4 Hour All Mankind confirmed. Sheep on the moon. Jimmy has said, it's lads, I've confused Jack Spear with my chat before. It was applying, then it crashed. It applied back. What do you think? Right, I have unfortunately reached my limit of ChatGPT. Unfortunately, I have to wait till tomorrow to my limit resets.
Oh dear.
So,
what a shame.
No more ChatGPT. So, if you've enjoyed Raned's hypothetical ChatGPT and AI insemination techniques, join us again next time.
Can anyone tell that we're kind of padding here?
We're not padding. We've just simply got nothing to talk about.
Why is that, Ram?
Because neither me or you have played any fucking games, but we did play a game yesterday, and it didn't go well.
No.
Yesterday, we fired up Dawn of War Soulstorm.
Yes.
RTS game that I played
the Warhammer RTS game that was out when we were in college.
Yeah. I remember playing it. Yeah, we played it. That was our go-to game. Every evening we get home, load up Dawn of War, go on Skype. Then were the days. Load up Skype, and play several matches. That was.
See, I'd never played online. So my experience of Dawn of War was in college, at a local cyber cafe, because I never actually owned it. So we went down to I own it now.
Well, you own every game now, so.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Even Half-Life 3. But
you're not meant to talk about that.
I know, shit.
Gaben's going to be very angry.
Sorry, Gabe. Sorry. So,
That's
a really big
what
secret.
happened to the last person who revealed they had Half-Life 3? He had that valve stuck in the back of his head.
Nah.
And I hate to say it, with your crew cut hair at the moment, you could pull that off.
Yep. But yeah, look, I hadn't properly played it in a bajillion years. To be fair, I barely played. I mean, we played it, but obviously not a huge amount. It wasn't something that I played online with my mates. We all had to go to this one specific place. And in fairness, man, most of my lot didn't even have PCs powerful enough to play it. Just trying to play Pong for most of my lot would have been an absolute nightmare. So, like I said, I thought it was funny that, you're like, oh yeah, mate, just run Skype. Dude, most of my lot didn't even have PCs powerful enough to run Skype.
Yeah. Well, we did it, played it an awful lot, and we played mostly the vanilla Dawn of War, and I said to you, I got somewhat competent at it. I definitely was not any sort of like tier of player. Well, I was a tier of player, but not a tier that you'd worry about tier of player.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got to the stage where I could like they Soulstorm they changed the balance of the game they sort of like bought new characters. They sort of like adjusted the balance of the game, and playing early on with Marines, I could get very quickly like 4 Land Raiders, because I think the very first version of the game, there was Land Raiders was like your top end vehicle unit. There was no actual limit to there was no like cap of how many you could have on your army. The only thing that was capped was your population limit, which was 20, and there were 5, so you could have 4 of them. Yeah. So I could very quickly, got really good at really quickly getting my base built up and getting those churned out really efficiently and sort of like rolling onto the enemy base. They then changed it so that you could only have 1 in your army because they were just sort of a bit overpowered. But I remember sort of like loading up and getting. I got pretty good. I always used to play as the Marines because at the time that's what the army I was playing as was Marines. So that and Tau. So Tau wasn't in the base game. They're in the later games, but they're not in the base one. Because that's the thing about the Dawn War. The amount of expansions Dawn War had, it pretty much added most of the armies in the game.
Oh yeah, if you go to the Steam page for like the Dawn of War 1 and 2, well, I think it might be a whole collection of them, but like a majority of the things and like buy the complete set is DLC for it, and it's a fucking long list.
Yeah. I thought I put nearly every army in it as well. I can't remember if Tyranids got put in it. I can't remember if Tyranids got missed out, because Tyranids used to always get forgotten about. But that was just sort of like cool, the fact that you could play it. By the time you get sort of the race game Soulstorm, which is like the last of the expansion, because Dawn of War 1 had 3 expansions. It was Winter Assault, Soulstorm, and what was the second one? Winter Assault was the first one. What came after that? But basically, they all added in, like, because the base game you had Marines, you had I nearly call them elves. You had Eldar, space elves, orcs, and Marines, orcs, elves. Was it Chaos Marines? Base game? I think it might have been Chaos Marines. Probably would be Chaos Marines. They tend to always put Chaos Marines in those sort of games. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Chaos. And then every expansion added in like new armors, like the Imperial Guard came with Winter Assaults, and they all play similar, but they are also different enough. So if you know the basics of how to play one, you can play them all, but you'll get caught out by sort of more minutiae stuff. And it was fairly sort of like, I mean, it was at the time it was so cool because you could send your armies and they'd go into a fight. You could zoom right in. They'd actually have proper combats. Like you see, like your dreadnought grabbing people, spinning around, squishing them up. Talking of zooming in.
Yeah, I was about to say zoom right in.
Now this is the thing. I do not remember that game being as zoomed in as it was until I relaunched it.
So I thought about it last night after we played, and my main thing was I remember it looking a lot better than it did. Even the UI, I remember it looking a lot different. I remember being able to zoom in very close to units.
Yes.
Like, you can see details on the armor and all that kind of stuff. But my God, it's not so much how well you can zoom in. The problem is you can't zoom out.
Your fully zoomed out field of view is so shite.
Yeah, once you build a base, you build it like you put down your base, your main starting point. You put like the equivalent of like a barracks next to that. That's pretty much the entire zone. That and a couple of units, you're done, dude. You can't see.
Yeah, you can't see a thing. You can't see an absolute thing. No, it is, and it must have been like that because I'm sure it hasn't changed over the years. It must be like just simply don't remember it. Because I think default Dawn of War also didn't support widescreen. It was 4.3 only default Dawn of War, which is why I said play Soulstorm, because that's got proper native widescreen support. Like a lot of old games, you could just hack the INI files and stuff. There is So one of the really cool things about Dawn of War is they really lent into painting your armies. So in like real world, you can paint almost however you want. In Dawn of War, every army has like you can basically pick from 5 colors. There's like a main, there's like a trim, and basically you can pick whatever color you want for those trims, and you can paint the army how you like. You also got like you've got like banners, which your guys what they'll stick in the ground when they capture a point. There's also like a unit marking, which would be like a shoulder marking on Marines or be on your base units or stuff like that. You can upload custom ones. Because I don't know if you saw the custom ones I had uploaded onto my buildings.
No, I didn't see.
No, well, I had buildings. I had a custom banner and I had custom markings on the buildings. And there's literally just a folder in Dawn of War's directory called badges and banners. And all you do is basically create these files and just load them into there. And boom, you can just go in the game, pick them out, and off you go. Downside is they are TGA files. And my God, learning how to edit those, fucking hell. Because they are a really old school file format. Because you have to put an alpha.
I was going to say, a question is then, is this like, did you have a directory like saved somewhere from a bajillion years ago out of the blue? Or
no.
Or did you actually make these things
I
for
made
that
these.
night
I made these Tuesday night.
Oh my God. Dedicated.
TGA files. And yeah, because TGA files, you have to include an alpha channel to get it to show up right on the armor, but you have to put the alpha channel in yourself.
Yeah.
So, and like, this is such it's not, I'll just upload a PNG or JPEG. No, you have to do it. That's the only thing it supports. So I cheated in the end because I was trying to get to work and I was trying to follow instructions online. Nothing worked. So then I cheated. So I just made sure the background of my TGA was the same color as I was going to paint the army. Because you can set RGB values in it. You can actually put, so you can set the actual RGB. So I'd make sure it matched and it looks good enough. So I was able to get that. I was quite pleased. It was quite nice seeing my army getting pulled with my own custom banner stuck on the ground. That was quite cool. That was nice. And there's also a couple of, if you are going to play Dawn of War, there's a mod, which basically is 3 Lua files that if you put in the data directory, that will basically allow you to zoom out, like proper right out to the point where like you won't like your main base will take like 100th the size of the screen up. You just zoom right out. Do have some issues with it because some of the maps have like atmospheric fog, and when you zoom out, the fog sort of rolls over everything. You can't see anything. But it does.
Well, let's be fair though, mate. It can't be any worse than being so zoomed in so close. You could see a Space Marine's ass crack, but you can't see the unit stood next to him.
Yeah, that it makes it a lot easier because you can see what's going on and you can sort of direct units.
That was horrible, mate. I could barely see it. I couldn't see.
No, that's why I did wonder if you're going to be able to put those files in or not, because I sent them across. I thought, I wonder if he's actually about to get them in because I knew you were playing.
I didn't. In the end, I didn't get a chance to set up. So for folks that don't know, Ram was using the 3 modified Lua files on his Windows PC, and I'm between rigs at the moment, so I was running on a Steam Deck, so I didn't actually get a chance to do any of the fiddling around. Like I only actually got a chance to install and launch the game the first time the night we started. And I was like, okay, I better go through the tutorial. I actually went and found like a mouse and keyboard and that. I was running so just as a note, I think a lot of the problems we were having might have been because my Steam Deck was running on battery power.
Right.
And I changed the Steam Deck's output resolution to be 1080p. Default is 720. And I set all the graphics in that to high. But I imagine that because I didn't have power hooked up to it and I had all those peripherals hooked up to it and the video output hooked up, that there might not have been quite enough juice going through the dock to keep everything going. So I was getting video dropouts.
Yeah, possibly.
And other kinds of dropouts. So if we were to play again next time, I'll have to make sure I can actually hook up a...
Yeah, we had some issues where it kept desyncing. So the first game you played, I set us up against 2 standard AI computers. Thinking that it's a stat, because trouble is, if you play against an easy computer, the easy computers are so stupid. They literally build their base, often just build a unit, and then once that unit gets killed, they don't bother building anymore.
Sure.
So
which is basically near enough what I ended up doing because I couldn't remember the fucking tutorial.
Yeah.
I could not remember it at all. In fact, I actually followed the tutorial to the letter, which was my problem up until like the third attempt when we kept getting desynced.
Yeah. Well, I sort of gave you some points of how I play, because you play an army I've never played, so I don't know, because I think they got added in for that expansion, which actually I didn't actually own.
Yeah, because they're the main.
Sisters of Battle.
I'd never played as them either. They were the main characters on the title screen.
Yeah.
That was the reason I picked them, is because that was what the tutorial was based on.
Sister Battle, or Nuns with Guns, I prefer to call them.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, the trouble was, as I say, I was following the tutorial to the letter.
Yeah.
Rather than just getting units out straight away. That, and I couldn't remember. So if you actually, when you look over my footage, if you even bother, to be honest with you, you will see that I'm hovering over tooltips pretty hardcore because I could not remember what any of the buildings or units actually did.
Yeah.
So
what I should probably done is I should have actually just changed your army to Space Marines, because I could tell you exactly what units to build.
Yeah, sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like because I was suffering from that kind of classic video gaming thing where, hey yo, I'm playing by myself, no problem, take my time. Bam, enemy turns up, brain goes blank. What do I do? And everything that you've done prior just kind of washes out the window. Yeah. It's kind of like when you're playing a fighting game, you've mastered a couple of combos on the trainer mode or whatever. You go online and then you try and hit that combo online. Your brain just turns to mush. You don't know what buttons to press. You just go back to mashing, and the whole thing falls apart. That was basically what I had in Total War. For some reason, my head just kept on going back to Red Alert 2. I was like, shit, what am I doing? Oh my god, where's
Kurkov deployed?
Well,
where's my Tesla coils?
There was that groove of like, you're like, oh yeah, go to these dots on the map. And well, first off, one of them, I was so zoomed in, I couldn't even. There were like 2 by my base. I didn't even see them on the map.
Yeah,
it was so zoomed in. And then one that I did see, because I'm sat here on like a TV like yay wide, like probably 40, 50 inches, whatever, right? First off, I'm sat too close to it.
Yeah.
Right. Secondly, I'm shade blind, so I couldn't see the points of interest on a little mini map.
Yeah.
There like a blacky purple on a grey black background thing. I couldn't see them.
I vaguely recall, and I may have dreamed this. I may recall that there is somewhere in the actual data files where like the color of those dots is like just specified as an RGB code.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can just go, and I vaguely have a feeling that I remember going to them and changing it to like a more obvious color to make it easier to see.
Yeah.
But I may have completely dreamed that up in my head at some point, but I vaguely have a recall of editing an INI file to make them more visible.
It would be quite common for that kind of thing to be in an INI file for a game back then, but like it is something that I'd probably actually have to do because I couldn't see a fucking thing. And in the tutorial, thankfully in the tutorial goes, we'll just highlight them. We'll just give them a pulsing red dot.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it wants you to know what you have to do next. But like without those pulsing dots, I couldn't fucking see them. Yeah. So I was just sending units off. And but obviously, because by the time I'd sent off a couple of the guys that claim these points, I already had enemies right on my base. There was nothing I could do.
Yeah, I'd forgotten.
I then had a bit of a panic and was like, shit. I didn't think, hang on, my main base is just there. Just get some of the sisters out there to kick the shit out of them. I was just like, no, keep sending out those guys. Keep sending out those guys. And it was just pointless.
I had forgotten how aggressive the AI could be.
Yeah.
And even on standard, they come for you very quickly.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
And even I got caught out by I hadn't built. I'd started constructing because I wasn't quite doing my normal build routine. I was like a bit out of order first because I'd sort of like get back into it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this AI just started. I was building my normal units, and all of a sudden, this AI just started targeting my units. Like shit, where the fuck did they come from? Yeah. They've literally just got. They've like not bothered to go. They've not bothered to capture any points. Just come for me. And but subsequent games, I then got better at getting units out. And I think I beat the AI to the point where the first second game we played, I was able to send a whole unit to support your base.
Yeah.
Which and that
well, no,
was
because I was building the entirely wrong units.
Yeah.
Completely. But then it was like, as I say, I hadn't quite clicked that by default I was able to get my other units out straight away anyway.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. Like I was spending so much time following the tutorial to the letter.
Yeah.
That I'd skipped out other key points. That, you know, I'd played, what, 20 minutes of a tutorial by that point. If that. So I reckon if I actually sat there and actually played the game for a bit.
Yeah, but wait, you might bet off of Dawn of War because Dawn of War 2 has no base building.
Oh, there you go.
They went more like they actually I think from memory they went more down the route of almost sort of like real-time XCOM-ish, in that your units are like less of them, but they're more in depth. They can do more things and more timing stuff, and they can actually gain experience and like level up and stuff. I think it's more like almost like XCOM based, but real time. I vaguely recall Dawn of War 2.
I'm not gonna lie, it's messy.
Well, yeah, if modernised, it is, yeah.
You know,
at the time, it wasn't really any worse than the other RTS at the time. Actually, it was a really nice RTS at the time. But
I mean,
now,
I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. I do remember specifically a lot of my lot just bouncing and going back to like Red Alert or Tiberium Sun or whatever, you know. So,
well, most of my lot were ex. You know, their previous games were Red Alert and Tiberium Sun as well, and we sort of fell into it.
Warhammer for my lot, fine as a tabletop.
Yeah.
On a computer, not so much.
Yeah. Oh, I used to upgrading your Marine squad so they could fire 4 missiles, just watching orcs flying through the air. Hilarious.
Because
I'm surprised you didn't pick orcs, because orcs is the comedy army. I can imagine you playing the same quite.
No, I used to play orcs in Blood Bowl.
Yeah. So I was surprised when you picked Sisters of Battle. I thought, I was surprised you didn't go for orcs.
Well, like I say, I only picked who I picked because
orcs
that was the
have the funniest dialogue lines as well. They've got some hilarious dialogue lines. There's you click the little like Gretchen, you click him, and he just sort of like give things. And one of them is like, "Please, no more kicking."
Oh.
And you click, you'll hit the orcs. They'll go orcs, 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 orcs. They'll charge. They'll chant. You send them off, and then they'll get into a fight, and you're just listening. Also, you'll just hear them all. They're like really keen. We're gonna mash him up, and then also hear him go, "We're all gonna die," as their morale, because they did try and implement a lot of the mechanics from the board game into this, so your units have morales. Your units' morale could break.
Yeah, no, I saw that going through part of the tutorial. I mean, which is fine. But in my case, obviously, I hadn't played. Like, I hadn't played since college. So the idea that I was going to pick any of that up, you know, wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, where, as you say, you and your lot would regularly play in the evenings. My lot would have to go to a very specific place to play.
Yeah.
And that just weren't a thing. I mean, when did they come out?
Dawn of War 2002, 3, I think. Early 2000s.
Oh mate, I think by that point I was near moved out, so most of my lot wouldn't have even been. I wouldn't have even been a thing to most of my lot.
I was at college, so it would have been 2000, and it would have been early 2000s.
Yeah, most of my lot would have. By 2004, 2006, I was long gone.
So, it was before then.
So yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, where most of my lot played online gaming, you're talking original Unreal Tournament, like 99.
Yeah, no, this is well. This is after.
By the time we got to like UT 2003 graphics, my mates' machines could not play.
Yeah, it was released September the 20th, 2004, and September 24th in Europe. So 2004 was released. So not quite 20 years ago.
Yeah, that would have been, like I said, for most of my lot, we'd have had to have gone to the gaming center.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have just been able to sit there and actually play.
Yeah. Oh, it's composed by Jeremy Soule. Didn't know that. Who does all the Elder Scrolls games?
The more you know.
He did the composing for it. There you
I
go.
reckon, like, given time, I reckon I could get into it and quite enjoy it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's yeah. If you don't sort of like know the if you don't, it is a game you have to spend. You have to learn how to do the basics. If you don't do the
yeah.
basics, you're just gonna get mullered
You're
every
basically
single
fucked,
time.
which is
Yeah,
which was basically that was the groove I had yesterday. I was
yeah.
like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I didn't, like I say, I don't even remember the interface looking like that.
I do. It was like this when I played it. I launched it on because I thought it's an old game. I better make sure this runs and actually loads a game and plays a game because I thought old games, newer version of Windows. Yeah. So I launched it on Monday night, Tuesday night,
Mhm.
one of the nights. I installed and launched it and played a couple of games in it just to see if it ran okay,
Mhm.
and also to test out the mods I put on. And yeah, I was like, this just feels like just going back in time and playing again. It was like, oh yeah, I remember all this. I remember watching. All the sort of barks came flooding back when I heard them.
Mhm.
Space Marines attack! I remember, yeah, getting really. I remember one year getting very, very drunk at a Christmas party. I just spent the whole evening posting on Facebook quotes from the game.
Huh. There you go.
Yeah. Some of which people liked, I think, because I put some more, the Space Marines more inspirational quotes on there, like, he who stands with me shall be my brother. And I was getting likes for that one. It's like, really? Okay.
Yes, because they don't know where it came
No,
from.
exactly. It's like, okay. Greenskins fell the beasts. It's just, yeah, it's a game that it brings back lots of fond memories. It's just a real shame that we had such issues with it desyncing.
I wonder as well if that might have anything to do with me being on Wi-Fi.
Possibly.
Well,
Possibly.
the reason I say it is because when you play on Wi-Fi, it's not direct like hop, 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 and they're not consistent. There are so many things that cause variations in the speed of or the um like the ping of communications,
Yeah.
I suppose. The latency of the communication. So
Yeah.
I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. And it's when it kind of skips, because it will, through interference or like a bit of bloat or whatever. I'm simplifying here.
Yeah.
That can cause an issue. And if the net code isn't designed to handle
I
that,
mean, maybe, but then at the same time, even if physically directly connected to your router, there's still a lot of hops it has to go through across the whole interwebs to get to your
yes,
machine.
but then it's still largely more consistent. Like you're not going to end up having, say,
More
I don't know.
reliable.
Yeah, you're not going to go from say 150 to 3,000 milliseconds in like,
Yeah.
and then back to normal.
Looking at the forums, it is a known issue of the game,
Sure.
and apparently it occurs on some certain maps. It occurs on,
Oh,
and
interesting.
yes, and also it occurs on if you've got any sort of if either you or the person you're playing with have got modified versions of the game. Now, I don't know if those Lua files make my game considered modified.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, don't know. That might be what was causing that. So maybe having those files was what caused the issue. I don't know.
Sure.
But I shouldn't do. But then old games are really finicky. You forget
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
how twitchy they are, and games run back in the day.
I mean, I remember trying to get a game of UT 2003 working with Zebra. It was either 2003 or it might have been actually Game of the Year. Trying to get that thing to goddamn run was a nightmare.
Yeah, because we had problems getting to run as well, didn't we? Because you had learned the tricks from playing with Zaber,
Mm-hmm.
and we got it going pretty quickly.
But like playing, so I had to try and explain this kind of thing to my kids the other day as well, like because we were playing this random game, playing an old Alien Swarm or something like that. I can't remember now. Me and my youngest were playing it, and I had to try and explain to my son that if they're connecting externally, I have to still enable it so that the firewall lets them back in.
Yeah.
And I said, like, this kind of thing can be a ball ache. It's not as easy as it like is for modern games.
Yeah.
You have to set up firewall rules to let things in and out. Servers have to be configured properly. This is an absolute nightmare to get an older game running. You'd often have to have an extra machine to be a dedicated server, or like have someone be willing to sacrifice a bit of performance because you obviously didn't have super powerful machines back then.
Go back old enough, and there are machines where there was no server browser. You literally had to have the IP address of the person you wanted to play the game with.
No, I remember, because it's funny enough, you mentioned DeWald earlier. I remember me and him playing, I think it was Virtual Cop, and you had to dial into each other's house. Like I remember me and my mate Alpha. Funny enough, Alpha's birthday today. We used to play Duke Nukem, and I used to have to phone his house.
Yeah.
With my PC, I used to have to dial into his his computer to actually play this game multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like that was, so means I'm old.
Yeah.
But you guys have no idea.
You guys with your fancy server browsers and your filterings and your, back in the day when you did have a server browser, it literally just showed you the name of the server and how many players were in it. And if you want like custom maps, people had to put in descriptions in the text, like old map, no noobs, 2v2, and all this was like they'd put in the description of the server so everybody knew what it was about and stuff.
Oh mate, but let's not even get started about actually having a custom map too.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't always the case, that you would say, like, you have a game, you've got a custom map, and then you would download the map that was being played on the server.
Yeah, you would, yeah.
Once upon a time, you had to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you had to have a copy of that map file there, otherwise you couldn't play.
Yeah. Yeah. Which also made it harder for, like, more modern maps to get out there, because everybody had to sort of like make sure they download it and stuff. It was a lot hard back then. But how things have changed.
Oh yes.
But then they've sort of like gone back round, whereas now you can't have custom maps because they're just locked down, so you can't have them.
Yep. Well, you don't even get access to the server in a lot of cases, do you?
No, dedicated servers are gone.
Yeah.
It's all peer to peer.
And it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible. It's even worse when you realise that some of these companies are charging you money.
Yeah. I remember the other sort of game that me and my mate, when I was at college, me and my group used to play an awful lot of was Delta Force Black Hawk Down, which was the tie-in Delta Force game with the Black Hawk Down film. And again, from memory,
you used to play that in college.
Yeah. From memory, it looked really pretty. From memory, it looked like it would be. Now it looks always very horrible. But that had. So the great thing I liked about Delta Force was the maps were fucking massive, because maps basically were tiled, but the actual so your main large map, and then they just tiled it out so you could literally go kilometers away from the battle zone. And I used to get like the most powerful sniper rifle. I used to walk like a kilometer away from the actual battle, just sit on a hill shooting people.
I remember you saying. Because like I said, I remember you also saying how at one point your class, because we were both in college doing the same course but in separate classes.
Yeah. And
Ram told me how at one point his class had got access to one of the rooms and had installed the games on various machines.
Yeah.
And you had like basically a mini LAN game.
Yeah. It was amazing. And then we but that supported custom maps. If you load up a custom map, you're free. And there were some hilarious custom maps. There was one where my best experience playing on a map where I got the most kills. I nearly pushed towards the top of the leaderboard, which is unusual for me because I'm a sniper. So I used to get fairly good like kill to death ratio, bullet to kill ratio. But I used to
hope so as a sniper, mate.
Yeah, but I used to not be very good at that total number of kills. Well, there was this one map, and the person who decided basically there was like in the game one of the mods was these shipping containers, and they basically made like a set of stairs out of shipping containers, but internal, so you ran through the inside of them. But they were like it's a ramp, so they made a ramp out of shipping containers, but you ran through the middle. So your spawn location was at the bottom, and you then had to run up through the shipping containers into the center of the map. Yeah. Probably thought it was a really neat idea. What they didn't think about was if you were clever and jumped on top of the shipping containers off the enemy's base, you could just literally aim down as soon as you hear someone walking, just fire your gun, just shoot him in the head. So I just
Good
jumped on
time.
the shooting table with a heavy machine gun and was just aiming down, and just as people walked out, just shooting them. And they knew I was there. They couldn't do anything about it, 'cause as soon as they disappeared, I shot them in the head. They tried to run past, but it was just like, because it was free headshots.
Yeah.
Just free headshots
Okay.
constantly. I was getting loads of kills, and I actually ran out of ammunition, which was hilarious. You don't often run out of ammunition in a multiplayer game, but I did in that one.
Good times.
I think one of the other big memories of that game was me and a friend. We had we loaded this map up, and he used to play sniper as well, and there was no other players. It was meant to be like a 32 player map. And there was no players, just me and him. Of course, we got put on different teams. So me and him were able to have like a full-on sniper duel, and that was great because we didn't do much. We didn't get many kills each, but we would like spend all our time trying to work out what the other one was, hunting them, searching them. Like, oh, there he is. That's his leg. I just need to sort of like reposition myself, but can he see me? And that was amazing. That was just like it was like so tense. And when you sort of like got the drop on somebody, it's like, there's his fucking leg. I'm gonna shoot it. Bang! Oh, he's dead. That felt so good. Felt so good. That was probably a big sort of game we played an awful lot of. Just killing lots of people.
I mean, like, so what kind of machine were you running at that point?
I have no idea.
I was going to say, I imagine most of my lot was still running 486s.
I remember building a new machine whilst I was at college, and I remember installing Delta Force on the new machine. So I did upgrade at some point. It wasn't. We're not talking like a high-end spec machine. I spent like £600 on it. So, which was quite at the time. That's quite a lot.
£600 back in the day was quite a chunk of change. Because I mean, you got to think it was only a few years ago that a decent graphics card was only £200.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
well, you say that, but I remember back in when I was still at college, when I was before we went to BA, between sort of that sort of period when we were still doing the foundation, I remember spending £350 on a graphics card. I mean, it was a meaty graphics card, top end graphics card, but it's still almost that.
Oh no, for sure.
Up.
What I'm saying is that, you know, it wasn't that long ago that you could buy. You said like, oh, £600, it's not that good of a machine, and you just went and said that £350 was a pretty much up there graphics card.
Yeah.
Whereas a few years ago, you could buy a graphics card for £200 and play pretty much everything, with your high end sitting at around £600, the price of your entire machine. These days, that's not even close.
Yeah.
Right. The cost of a Sarcastic Echo's decent machine, you're going to be spending more than the entire PC on just a graphics card.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah. It's all about the VRAM.
Yeah. You can spend a lot of money on a graphics card these days and still get cheaped out on VRAM.
Yeah.
But
no, they were great, happy days.
Them were the days when we had plenty of time to play our games. I mean, to be fair, I had a middle of the road machine as well. This was like back in the Athlon 3000 days. You know, it was a pretty sound machine. I can't remember what graphics card I had in it. Playing buckets of fucking games. I kept that one running for years. I think actually I ended up with an 8800 GT at one point, and that sat in it for fucking ever. I think that was actually the same machine that we had when we were playing World of Warcraft and that together.
Oh yeah.
The early days of WoW. And just, I still have that machine somewhere.
I've got all my PCs still.
But just, I don't know, because most of my lot didn't get. They didn't upgrade their computers. Like they got like maybe a hand-me-down PC or like one of the school recycled computers. So they ended up like with a 486 or whatever. I think it was only like me, Alpha, and possibly DeWald, that out of my direct lot that actually ended up with reasonable middle-of-the-road PCs.
Yeah.
And when people used to come to my house, so I had a PC and I had a laptop. And so, like the PC, I think the PC was a bit long in the tooth at the time, but like people would come and play on the PC, and then I'd sit on the laptop or one or the other, so we'd kind of like rotate. And then that was how we ended up actually playing a lot of online games. Because if one of our mates couldn't play, like, oh mate, my 486 can't play it, then they'd come around and play. They'd bring around like a license key and install it on my machine, and
I my
Or
sort of,
on
I
one of my
mean,
machines.
my PC for college, my first personal PC, an actual PC, um, was basically funded by my parents and grandparents, and that was a it was a reasonable kit. I remember it installed with Windows 98.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, Windows 98. That was quite cool having that on there. Yeah, I remember seeing that and playing that, and then I got it for college work, but I also played lots of good games on it.
Damn right it did.
Yeah.
You needed that graphics card from Microsoft Word, motherfucker.
Yes. I've got to use I've got to do presentations. I need it for PowerPoint. Um, yeah, back in the day, yeah, that Windows 98 machine and having to use floppy disks as well because all our work was on floppy disks at those time.
Oh my god,
Oh,
what a
this is-
nightmare.
Yeah. But then yeah, I used to remember buying a new machine. Sorry, the dog just made a noise. I remember buying a new machine from a local shop. There was like this scheme where you could actually like you didn't have like big credit rating stuff. You could get like really low end loans over quite a few months. So I had like a £500 10-month loan, so it was only like 50 quid a month, which at the time when I wasn't earning a lot, that was quite a lot of money.
No, sure.
Thing. So I was able to buy a £500 PC for like 50 quid a month for 10 months, which is great. I was able to have a nice machine, and yeah, because I remember spending a lot of because you're right actually. I remember buying a decent graphics card for 120 quid.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah, that was a fantastic.
I remember going from I had an 8800 GT. I had an X1950 for years. AMD Sapphire X1950 for years. 8800 GT. And then I don't think I upgraded that graphics card until I ended up with a tri-core machine. So I went from a single core Athlon to a tri-core machine.
That used to blow my brain, tri-core machines, because like 3 cores, that doesn't make there's not a power of 2.
As a quad core with a duff core on it. So they just disabled one of the cores. But yeah, ended up with a tri-core and then like 6850s or 6870s, I think. And I ended up with like 3 of those for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Ended up with 2, put them in Crossfire. And then when Skyrim came out, I ended up with the 8-core Alcatraz that I've got here. So I went from the tri-core to an, I think it was an 8-core, or it might have been a 6-core. 6-core. Phantom 2, 6-core. Went to a 6-core. And I ended up with a 7970 that I had to get a loan for because Skyrim wouldn't run properly. I've told the story a million times. Bethesda's tech support, yeah, the game runs like shit on my Crossfire graphics cards. Right? And they're like, yeah. I said, if I take one of my graphics cards out, the game runs faster. Their advice to me was, don't wait for a patch. Take out one of your graphics cards.
Yeah.
Just play it with one graphics card. I was like, fuck off. I went and got a 7970. I had to get a loan for that. That was only like, what, 300 quid? And then that was probably the last time I think PC parts were a reasonable price.
Yes.
Every time after that, it's just gone up to the point that now it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
For what you're paying, it's a joke.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Old man
having
gets
said
angry.
that though, I feel that back in the day, you'd have to upgrade more frequently because the jumps in ground quality would jump a lot quicker. Whereas now the pressure upgrade isn't as much. I
disagree.
Do you?
I disagree. No, I completely disagree because I used that 7970 up until I built so I built that machine when I was in Norwich. I just had a spud and I didn't upgrade that machine. Oh. I didn't upgrade that machine until I moved here.
Okay, it's different because my experience was
I had that machine for fucking eons.
My experience was having to upgrade probably every 2 to 3 years. I used to find that I was getting to a stage where games just wouldn't run.
If you bought a middle of the road graphics card,
yeah, that's what I was
or
buying. That's all I could afford.
yeah, see, but that's
Whereas
what I'm
now,
saying.
whereas now, middle road graphics card. My last machine had fairly not so much my current
Mate, you
machine.
had a 1070.
Not so much the current machine, but the one before that had a fairly middle of the road graphics card, and that lasted about 5-6 years before I had to upgrade it. So, I definitely, in my experience, I definitely find I have to upgrade less often, than in the past. Personally, that's my experience.
That's not been mine.
Yeah.
Like basically from the moment that like Far Cry 2, was it Crisis? Sorry, Crisis 2. From the moment Crisis 2 basically came out onwards, it's been rock solid.
Yeah.
Just buy a PC, that was it. But from everything before up until Crisis 1, it was kind of Wild Westy. Right? From about the time when PS3, Xbox 360 came out, from that moment on, as I've been saying for years, if you had a PC that was as powerful or more powerful than those consoles, you didn't have to upgrade because you were riding what they were optimizing for.
Yes.
And that was around the time of Crisis 2.
Yeah.
So, because I think it was, Crisis 2 was the first one they put on console, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
That's when they started optimizing, like middle of the road graphics. Medium had to look good because that was what the Xbox was going to play on. Or like low had to look good.
But
it wasn't like when we used to play Crisis 1 or Far Cry, where if you set things to low, the guy would go from looking like a human to a man made out of Play-Doh, and a tree would just look like a stick.
Yeah.
You know, like things very much changed in that when that console generation came out. So gamers, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. It's the last time that a physical game was worth a fuck, right? But it was also when gaming became somewhat affordable.
Yeah.
You buy a decent machine then, stick with the console, you're good. Same groove with the PS4, because that's what I'm saying. My 7970 kicked the shit out of a PlayStation 4. And I had my 7970 before the PS4 launched. So I had that machine from PS3 through PS4. And someone actually did a test recently. The 7970, a decent 7970, was still playing, I think, Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
And I think actually even it loaded up Cyberpunk. Did it play well? No, but the fact that it fucking loaded it.
Yeah. Well, yes. So it all depends on what you sort of spend. So it's very much a case. It's always has been with machines is that actually spending the money on the high end components does make them last. But actually, everything in life actually you spend money on stuff that tend to last longer.
Yeah.
So it's
Although I will say it's really sketchy to do that now though, because again, you could spend a lot of money on a high end graphics card, like Zaber for example, spent a fair bit of money on a high-end graphics card. I mean, he's adamant he spent like 400 quid on that 3070 he's got. I don't believe it because that was the height of the chip shortage. And I'm pretty sure that was one of the most expensive parts in his computer. I mean, the processor alone was worth 300 quid. So
yeah, that means he would have spent. That means he would have spent less on that than I did in the graphics card on this machine when I built this machine.
Yeah, and so like I said, well, let's put it this way: I bought the card above his, which was a 3080, and I spent nearly $1,500.
I think the card in this machine was approaching 500 quid when I built it.
With fucking bargain, mate. Because when the 3080 came out, that was only like a £600 card.
Yeah.
When the chip shortage hit, oh, look at that! Look at them prices go up.
Chip shortage and crypto are the two biggest banes of the graphics card existence.
Yeah, damn right. And because that was the same years I had 2 graphics cards fail on me, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was a fucking nightmare trying to get those cards. And in the end, it was like, no, I'm just going to have to spend a lot of money and just buy a big card.
Yeah.
And I bought that. But then Zaber bought he bought the 3070. I bought the 3080. I had 12 gigs of VRAM. He ended up with 6 or no, he must have got 8. He must have got 8. And within about a year of him buying that card, 8 gigs was starting to get long in the tooth.
Yeah.
So if he wanted to play the games at the resolutions and frame rates that was expected of the price he paid for that computer, well, it wasn't good. So even
No.
if you bought somewhat high end, there was always an asterisk with high end. You could have bought a 3080 with less VRAM. Would that have really done you any good though? No, because you'd have chugged the VRAM and wouldn't have actually been able to get the performance out of it anyway.
Yeah.
So there's always an asterisk with what is the top end. You can buy a big beefy graphics card. If the VRAM ain't there though, good luck.
It's always look at it's when you're building a machine, it's a homogenous way you should look at it, where you look at all the parts together rather than like one specific bit.
Yeah.
Don't focus on one bit. Oh, if I buy it, because it doesn't matter how meaty your graphics card is if you've got a really shit CPU to pass the information across.
You'll just bottleneck it.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you need to make sure, in simplest terms, the CPU can calculate all the frames to push them to the graphics card to render the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because if you max out your processor and you're only pushing 30 frames, your graphics card's just sat there idling. You might as well not worry about it.
You're better off having a machine where all the parts in it are equivalent. They're balanced parts to each other, but they're all not particularly great parts, as opposed to one machine where most of the parts are shit, but you've got one bit that's really good.
Yeah.
Because you won't get the performance increase. You'll just push the performance down the line.
Yeah.
So that's why it comes a point where it's not worth upgrading, because.
And if you have no idea about hardware, again, just use the idea that look at the console, like the most popular console on the market. That's the one that games developers are optimizing for. Make sure your machine specs hit that or are above it, and then that way you will be playing games for that entire generation.
I would argue you want to go slightly above, because obviously the software, the operating system of those consoles are optimized for the consoles, whereas if you're using Windows, it's a generic operating system that's designed to things. It's not.
It's pretty meaty.
Yeah, so I would say you want to go above. You don't have to go mad, but you want to go a bit above what they're doing.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Was it Ghost of Tsushima? So I had actually played Ghost of Tsushima again recently on PC, but I'll go into that another time, because I've already spoken about Ghost of Tsushima on PS5. But PS5 is playing that game at 4K 60. I don't know what graphical settings it's using equivalent to the PC, but the PS5 is like what, 600 quid, 400 quid, whatever it is, however much. It's not a huge amount of money. Well, it is. It's like it's a good half a grand, right?
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near the money of, say, a graphics card.
Yeah.
To play that game, according to Steam and the developers, on the highest setting at 4K 60, like the PS5, we'll just use 4K 60. Don't worry about high, medium, magic, whatever. 4K 60, all the way up, as they say on the thing. They want a 4090. A 40 fucking 90.
So the 5090's out soon, so that'll drop down in price.
Like I said, at this point, I'm starting to feel like gaming just isn't. Again, it's the same rant we had last time about the actual value of games costing too much to develop. I don't really think the games are. I don't think it's worth it.
I think when it comes to because consoles are loss leaders, they sell consoles at a loss.
Yeah.
Because how much it costs Microsoft to make that console is a lot more than it costs you to buy it.
Of course, because they want to rope you in with software sales.
Exactly, that's where the money is. So now it comes to PCs. I'm at a stage now where I've always preferred PCs to consoles, but if it was for that I did other things on my PC that required using a PC, there's not really a lot of point in having one.
Yeah.
Unless you like playing lots. I mean, playing lots of old games, PCs are great for that.
Yeah.
Doing anything.
Although you can now do that on your iPhone, because iPhones have now got emulators, so you can emulate all the way up to PS2.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got my Steam library on the PC. But
well, no, but then at that point, and I think this is one thing I can say, good job, Valve, the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It's a £300-400 handheld PC, mini PC, or consoleized PC, And I think a lot of gamers have now gone, you know what? I don't actually give a shit about 4K 60 or even running at 60 FPS, which is a stupid thing to look at.
Yeah.
Is the game good? I don't know. Does it run at 4K 60? Does it matter?
Yeah.
Like that seems to be something that we gauge now. Like it's important.
I mean, mate, you're playing Counter-Strike at 4K 60. You don't need to play at 4K 60.
Yeah, like who gives
60,
a shit?
yes. 4K, no.
I'd rather have it smooth than high res, but that's just me, right? And if it's well optimized, I don't really care regardless, right?
No.
But in the case of the Steam Deck, a lot of people are going, oh, actually, I'm playing this game at like 720, 30, and I don't give a shit. I'm just playing my game and it's fun. And I've got loads of games, and it's effectively like when I was a kid with a Game Boy, you've now got full-blown big boy beefy PC games in your backpack.
Yeah.
You know, or you could be sitting in the back of your parents' car playing like fucking Call of Duty or Skyrim or like some other fucking big old beefy games. You know, you've got them all with you. You could be playing. I played through Hogwarts Legacy. I had a beefy PC. I played it through on the Steam Deck. Did it look great? No. Was it playable? Fuck yeah. Was it fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the Steam Deck has really done that. I don't really know if I would even bother upgrading my PC again in the future. I know that I want to take a couple of so I've still got 2 graphics cards in boxes and a case. Where I upgraded my PC, I needed a new case and a new power supply.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to kind of cobble that together into another machine, or cobble all the spare parts together into a machine, and then just calling it done.
Yeah.
Because like I say, like the hardware prices not cool, even though like you know even with gaming and all that kind of stuff. I don't care. Like the most intense thing I do these days is play fucking VR games.
Yeah.
And even then I do that once in a blue moon.
Yeah. And that's where actually the sort of like the sort if you're playing for VR stuff, that's when perhaps the more powerful PC makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the moment, as you say, at the moment in time, it's just the graphical increases that we're getting just aren't really worth it.
No. Well, I mean, think about it. Ghost of Tsushima is a PlayStation fucking 4 game.
Yeah.
Right? And just as a note, Mac users, I know you're really psyched that you got Death Stranding, right? On your Mac. And you're really happy that your iPad runs at 1080p 30. It's a PS4 game. You've got a couple £1,000 worth of hardware, and you are playing a PS4 game. Good job. Good job. I mean, it runs all right on the Mac. It's not terrible, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I say that being a guy sat in front of a Macintosh right now. So, just because right now I'm actually running this whole thing on battery as well. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even the lights are battery. This whole thing is battery.
Oh.
But Ghost of Tsushima, I said the spec was like a 4090, but it's also optimized to run on Steam Deck, and it plays great. You know, do you need like if I was on the market these days and I'd go, I'd probably actually look at it and go, do I really need the more powerful PC? I'm playing games. A lot of games are being optimized to run on the Steam Deck. Cool. I'll go with that. It's a great piece of kit. Save yourself a fortune.
Yeah. There you go. That's Skazz's recommendation for you. Buy a Steam.
Sorry, don't buy a gaming PC. Just buy a Steam Deck.
Buy a Steam Deck.
Dip your fucking toe in, buy a Steam Deck, and then fuck off and go do something. Go touch grass and then play games.
Outside with your Steam Deck.
Yeah, I do. Which is sad, but I do.
Nothing more sad than that.
I love my gaming PC, but then I don't actually have a dedicated space to have my gaming PC set up.
No, that's the trouble, isn't it?
So, you know, I know a lot of other people are like, oh yeah, check out my streaming games room. It's like, yeah, I'm married with kids in a small house.
Yeah.
Like, when people say to me, I've got a small gaming setup, and they talk about, like, oh yeah, I've got like a 112 or 110 square feet room or whatever. It's like, dude, that's like the biggest room in my house.
Yeah.
And that's their small gaming setup, you know? I ain't got that luxury.
No.
And the idea of being able to sit at my PC and actually play a game is not a thing.
No.
So I come at it with a bit of a skewed perspective, but if you've got like $3,000 to burn on a PC and you've got the space to set it up and all that kind of thing, go for it, I guess. But I still think really that the Steam Deck is probably one of the better things out there. You know, as you just said yourself, Ram. Like, is there really much of a reason in having a PC other than to play games and do your spreadsheets and shit?
I say if you're using stuff on PC that you use it as a workhorse, then it kind of sort of still makes sense. But if you're just play, if what you want to do is play games, and you're just doing like a bit of internet browsing, well, 9% of it you can do on your phone. If you really need if you need to get a cheap laptop, and have a console, the need for a super high-end PC is gradually disappearing, to be honest, if I'm honest. And I say this as a person who's always been a die-hard PC gamer.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I've always had relatively high-end machines. Well, since I did the whole 7970 build years ago. And it's just like I don't care.
Yeah.
I've got the option to go downstairs and play games at 4K 60 or 4K higher. And I've never bothered.
Yeah.
Never bothered. That, and I find that, as we've said before, I just find most games are horribly repetitive. So
yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, on that cheerful note.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's
Went off a bit of a rant there.
Well, on a cheerful note, I suggest we probably wrap this up, as it's now, for spite of the fact we had nothing to talk about, we're nearly at 2 hours, which is always the way when you have nothing to talk about.
That's amazing. Good job.
Good job, guys. Good job, us. So, thank you very much for joining us this evening. You can join us on our next podcast, which will be on the 20th of June, here on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch.tv/RoundNerds, youtube.com/RoundNerds at approximately 6:30 GMT +1. Or you can join us for our games night, which will be on the 19th of June at approximately 8:30 GMT +1. Not sure we'll be playing next week because we had issues, and we'll have to think about it, see if we can fix them. But yeah, come join us for that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this evening, and until next time, see you guys all later.
Have a good one, guys.
I honestly thought you were just going to wave at the screen, not say anything there for a second. Goodbye.